Alright, Dragon Ball Super fans. Now, before getting into this video, I just want to make it clear this is not like a video done for a gag. It's not clickbait, and it's not really a rant video. It's pretty much just voicing a slight concern and a question I want to ask to you all, because this is pretty much just my perspective, and I would love to get some feedback on it. Now, especially for those who actually watched the entire Dragon Ball series from start to finish. I'm talking Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, GT, and Super, the movies, but more specifically, let's talk about maybe the post King Piccolo arc and the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament. So we're really talking about the time from when Goku defeated King Piccolo and then trained with Mr. Popo on Kame's Lookout, to that training being put to the test in the 23rd Martial Arts Tournament, and then talking about Ultra Instincts. Now, we know that Dragon Ball Super, especially if you watched all the previous series and movies, Dragon Ball Super is chock full of homages and Easter eggs to the previous series, either by the fighters' poses, certain tag team moves, quotes, and attack and what have you, especially in the manga as well. But something that's kind of, well, maybe I wouldn't say annoys me, but it kind of like made me raise an eyebrow, just kind of wondering, if this is what I think it is. Dragon Ball Super is also, in my interpretation, has taken some elements and lessons from the previous series, kind of dressed them up as something new, and then presented it to the fan base. Now, I'm going to do two separate videos, but this one I want to talk about Ultra Instinct. Now, don't get me wrong. When I first saw it, I was a bit skeptical of what to expect. I mean, the same thing with Super Saiyan Rose. When I saw the artwork for it, I didn't hate it. I'm more of a, let me just see what it looks like, the artwork and animation in terms of the actual fight scenes and whatnot. And the first time I saw it, I instantly fell in love with it. I found it as a corrupt, tainted Super Saiyan Blue transformation for a twisted god like Zamasu inside of a Saiyan body, and honestly, it's one of my favorite forms. But for Ultra Instinct, I mean, when I first saw it, I'm like, well, Super Saiyan God was just Goku colored red. His hair and his skin tone was different. Super Saiyan Blue was just Super Saiyan with a different color. And Ultra Instinct is literally base Goku, who looks slightly bulkier, pretty much Goku looking like how he did in Z for a change, and then having like the silver like eyes, and then like the white ore around himself, and pretty much dodging attacks on Instinct. Now, the concept behind Ultra Instinct is pretty much the fighter being able to dodge an attack without thinking, pretty much allowing the mind to take a back seat and then letting the body naturally do what it's supposed to do. And because of that, they would attain a skill that's even difficult for most gods to obtain. I mean, even Beerus, as we pointed out, is difficult. He knows some of the fundamentals, but he has never mastered the art of fighting without thinking. That's pretty much what we called in the Resurrection F arc, but then it finally was called Ultra Instinct once we got to the Tournament of Power arc. So the reason I'm bringing up Dragon Ball is the fact that I think about when Goku first went to Kame's Lookout and then was training with Mr. Popo, and he was not able to land a punch at all. I mean, we know that Goku is pretty much enraged. He was not his cool, calm, and collected self that he was when he fought King Piccolo. Pretty much Popo was making a joke out of Goku because Goku underestimated his opponent, overconfident in his power, and pretty much Mr. Popo was a well-trained martial arts master. And you notice, like, when he swallowed the Kamehameha wave, was able to dodge Goku's hits. And then we move on to when he actually began to train Goku, when he was like blindfolded, Popo was blindfolded, and Goku tried attacking him repeatedly, but Popo was able to move and dodge without any kind of flaws. It was literally flawless how easily he was able to evade Goku's attacks. And then I think he even like swatted him around a couple of times effortlessly, and Goku was confused. And then Mr. Popo went on to explain about learning how to sense energy and detect your opponent's presence without even having to use your eyes. Pretty much, I think even Goku said it's like having eyes in the back of your head. And then we move over to the tournament where Goku is fighting, I believe it was Tien, after using his multi-form in the semifinal round. And Goku, I believe, used a solar flare on all the Tiens, but then all the Tiens pretty much like, they each had a martial arts technique they were going to use on Goku while his back was turned. And then Goku just calmly said, like, you're doing like a drop kick, a karate chop. Pretty much he identified each move the Tiens were about to use, while he was turned around, the Tiens were shocked. They're like, how did you know? And even Roshi was like, what is it? Does Goku have eyes in the back of his head? And pretty much to me, and again, this is just my interpretation, it looked like Mr. Popo in a way taught Goku about Ultra Instinct before it was even a thing. I guess you could say like Dragon Ball Super took what Mr. Popo taught Goku, but then dressed it up in a new outfit, calling it a form for the gods, and then pretty much Goku learning what he's already learned. I mean, that to me is a bit disheartening, but hey, don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the cool factor in my eyes. I think Ultra Instinct is pretty good. I mean, to me, Ultra Instinct is, I would be frustrated. I would probably just give up. It reminds me of, like playing the Pokemon video games where your Pokemon is up against an opponent that used double team like 6 times in a row, so pretty much its evasiveness has went up to the max. So if a Pokemon like a Chance that uses Minimize, how frustrating it is to hit it. That's pretty much Ultra Instinct, being unable to hit your opponent. I wouldn't say it's because they're dodging on Instinct and Pokemon, it's because they use tactics to increase their ability to evade. But Ultra Instinct to me looks the same way. Like, Kefla was beating the crap out of Goku, but then as soon as he went Ultra Instinct, she wasn't able to lay a finger on him, minus the couple of energy blasts she was using at the end of their fight. But then you have the Ultra Instinct being mastered, being able to attack and defend while letting your body do what it has to do. So in my opinion, I feel like Ultra Instinct was already introduced into the show very early on, but in a very different way. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you feel like Ultra Instinct is pretty much a similar lesson to what Mr. Popo was teaching Goku back in Dragon Ball, but then Whis just kind of took the same thing but then elevated to a new level? So again, not criticizing Super, but just an observation that I made, and I want to know if anybody else felt the same way. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, share it around. Let's get some more thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you later.